Everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing some panning of the Brea Reese Professional Watercolor tubes. So let's go ahead and get started. So the Brea Reese watercolors come in two color tones. So you have the jewel color tone and the classic. Now, even though these are separate, I do want to pan these together. I have found that I love watercoloring so much, but I like to see my colors together. So I want to pan these together instead of panning them separately. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use this Magello Bulletproof Glass palette, and this is for watercolors. And as you can see, it has a huge surface here for me to go ahead and pan out my colors, but then it also gives me a lot of interior space here for me to mix my tones, which I absolutely love. I have to thank my girlfriend Karen for suggesting that I buy this, and I'm glad I didn't use it for any other watercolors but these. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is just pull out my colors. Now within these color palettes, you are going to have two whites in here, and you're also going to have two blacks. So these I don't have to pan twice. I'm just going to pan them once. And if I see that I have any overlap of colors between these two, again, I'm not going to pan every single color. As long as I don't have any duplicates, I'll pan everything. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this box open and go ahead and shake out the contents. Now, if you have never seen these Brea Reese watercolors, I have seen them in action already, and they are so pretty. And obviously the packaging is very well too. Because I can't get them out, that is good. So you know they're not going to ship around and get all wonky in the mail when they're being sent to you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open up my other end as well, just to give me some leverage to push out my colors. I'm gonna go ahead and open this as well. Now, what I do wanna make sure is that I know which color came out of what palette. So I do wanna make sure I know that. Just in case, for some reason, I have a tendency to want to know where my watercolors came from. So if they do come in a kit like this, I wanna know where they are. So a good way to do that is just to place your boxes right on top and take a picture. I just grabbed my cell phone. I'm going to take a quick picture of each one so I know what color set came in what. And then I have that for a record just in case somebody asks me, where did this color come from? I can tell them what palette it came from. Alrighty, so let's get busy. I'm gonna cut back some of the plastic. And I also say, sometimes I like to keep these little interparts here for craft products I might be testing out a little bit later. So like I said, you're going to have two blacks. So I'm just going to pan one of the blacks, and I'm going to actually keep them for right now just above the color group that it came with. So we have Payne's Gray, we have Raw Umber, Crimson, Magenta, we have a gorgeous Violet, Parisian Blue, Phthalo Blue, then we have Phthalo Green. I'm just going to move these down a little bit, Sap Green, Yellow Ochre, and then the white. Again, I'm just going to leave that in there because I already have the same colors over here. So in this one, we have brown. We have another violet, but it kind of looks like it could be a different color violet. Let's see. It looks like it could be different, but I'm going to test it before I put it in the palette. Then we have aquamarine blue, lake blue, Kelly green. We're going to have deep rose, cridacinum rose, orange, peach, and I'm kind of going off camera here, sorry about that, and cadmium yellow. Again, I'm going to pull out the white because I didn't pull the white out in the other one. So these are going to be our colors. Now, another thing I want to do is pan my color groupings together. So I'm just going to, at this point, start grabbing my greens and laying them out. Next, I'm going to do my blues. My reds are going to be at the beginning of my color wheel because I like to do things in rainbow color. And then I'm going to grab my yellows. I'm going to throw in my oranges in between. And this is how I pan. You don't have to do it this way. This is just how I like to do my pans now. I like to have them in kind of rainbow order. We're going to check on these two violets. And then we have our magenta. And then we have our darker colors, our Payne gray, our browns, and our black. Yep, and I need to put this little blue. I'm going to tuck that right in there. And then these are just going to be like our neutral colors. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Before I tube or pan any of these, I do want to check these violets. So I'm just going to open this up. Now to open the tube, you're going to see that it's sealed. You have this little piece right here. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. And you can just put that on top of your tube, push down and spin it, and it's going to bring up the color for you. I'm just going to grab a piece of scratch paper really quickly, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. That's the first violet. And then I'm going to grab that second violet, same thing. Just going to open that up. I think I've tested this one already before, so just want to make sure that they're not the same colors. Now you're also going to need some water containers. These are my collapsible ones. Absolutely love them. I'll link this below. And I also keep a water bottle on hand. So I just like that to squirt that in there. And I like to keep my colors from mixing. So I usually have my warm colors in one and my darker colors in the other. Now for my brush today, I am going to use one of the brushes from the Brea Reese pack. I love these brushes. I actually have two sets of them now, and I love them. So just really quick, I'm just going to pull that purple down and see where that color is. And then I'm going to pull this one down and see if they're the same. And they look a little bit different, but I believe they are the same purples. I'm just going to pull this just to make sure. If I blend those together, does it end up to be the same? Pretty much so. So I'm only going to pan one. All right, now this is not watercolor paper. This is some scratch paper I had sitting on my desk. All right, so I'm not going to let you guys be bored by watching me untube all of these. So once I'm done, I'll come back. Okay, I have all of them undone, so all the tops are off. Now, when I pan, I also like to make sure I do a color chart. So this is just some watercolor paper, and I'm just gonna show you how I did the lines. Very, very easy. So these are cut down to card panel size, A2 card size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to just draw the lines. I just have a pencil and my T-ruler, and I'm just going to line up my paper, right, so I can just make dots from the previous one. Let me just move this up so you guys can kind of see this. I'm just going to move my paints up and out of the way for a second. Now I've already drew them out on here, so what I'm going to do is line up my paper, and I'm just going to start with the top line here. Just gonna make a little dash. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. It really does not. I just like to do this. You don't necessarily have to. I like to do it just because I like to see the color separation. Then I'll just make my little tick marks where I know these lines will be. I grab my T-ruler, and I love this T-ruler. It's super, super handy. I bump it right against the top of that paper, and then I just go ahead and draw my lines. Nothing big, nothing fancy. And then I'll just turn it and start drawing in the other lines. Now, if you don't want to have lines, you can totally freehand this water palette here. Totally up to you. I just want to see the separation because I'm a little bit anal on not having the same amount of color on each little square. But you know, sometimes I need to probably get past that because it's really not that serious. Now, I don't want the lines to be too obvious when I am watercoloring. So I just have this little electric eraser, and I'm just going to very lightly very lightly go back over the lines, just so it's just not really like a stark line. I don't really want it to interrupt with my color. So I'm just kind of taking back the line just a little bit. I'm still leaving enough where I can see where each section is, but I just want to kind of clean up that line just a little bit. And I'll have this electric eraser listed on the products below. So if you want to get yourself one, they're super, super handy, and you can see how quick I can erase things. I'm going to do the same thing very, very quickly on this one. Again, I'm not trying to just totally erase the line, just kind of lighten it up some. So I'll quickly just go back and forth. I still want to be able to see my lines because I want to see where my boxes are, but they don't have to be really dark. Sometimes to me, if I see the lines too dark, then it kind of just takes away from the colors that I'm laying down. So I'm just going to quickly go over just the center lines of these. Nothing fancy. All right, now we are done. Now I did leave a little section at the bottom so I can write in that these are my Brea Reese colors. All right, it is time to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is pan them all, but I also want to make sure I have the right color down. So I'm going to grab my pan out. And again, you can do this any way you want, totally up to you. Just going to slide them up so you can see how I'm going to pan these. And I'm just going to go around. I'm just going to put a little bit in each one. Put that off to the side, and I'm just going to go through and put down my colors. Now, some of these reds might be lighter or darker. I'm really not concerned about that. I just want to have my reds next to each other. I'm not concerned if one is more orange and one's more blue colored. Not even interested. I just want to get the colors in here. So you can see how gorgeous and vibrant these colors are. Oops, I need to do my peach. How vibrant and beautiful the colors are. I mean, look, and they're super, super creamy. All right, I get really excited about color. Like, color to me is everything, everything. I can be out in a restaurant and I'll see a picture, or I can be in a store and I'll see a blouse or a man's tie, and I say to my husband, oh my word, wouldn't that make a beautiful card? Yes, I see card making, watercoloring, everything in everywhere I leave this house. I'm going to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and put down that blue. That blue is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just lining them up off to the side so I know where I put each color. Then I'm going to come in with that violet and go ahead and put that down. And then I'm going to come in with that magenta. Now, some people start the magenta at the beginning. I, for some reason, always put mine to the end. It's totally your preference, either way you want to do it. Now, again, I made sure to keep my colors lined up off to the side so I know when I'm swatching them what color I am swatching. Now, I do have my basic colors, my Payne's gray, my black, my browns. I'm actually going to put them down here because I might at some time want to make a custom color or something over here. So I'm going to start with my raw umber, and then I'm going to do my brown, super pretty. I'm going to do my Payne's gray, and then my Mars black, and then I am going to pan the white. So super, super pretty. Now, you want these to sit for a while. You want these to dry and just rest in here. Now, it might take a couple of days for these to get hard enough for you to like just go in there with your paintbrush and reactivate the color. So just know that. But I want to show you, I have a lot left in these tubes. So I'm going to be able to have this color for quite a long time. So just keep that in mind. Once you pan it, you're going to have plenty enough to share if you want to. Pan another palette if you want to. Totally up to you. But I am willing to share. All right, so let's go ahead and grab those pieces of paper. I'm going to use my little wells right in here to start doing my color. So like I said, I keep two waters. I like to do ones that have like my reds in it, and then the burgundy, and then my cool colors in another one. This keeps your colors from really getting muddy, or your water from really getting muddy. I'm gonna grab myself some paper towel as well, so I can brush off or clean off my brush. So I'm just gonna start grabbing the color. I'm just gonna put some right outside of this well, just right outside. And I'm gonna just start putting in the color. I'm just gonna do a very light wash across the top of that color. And then I'm gonna add more water because I wanna see how transparent these can get. So I'm not adding any more color. I'm just pulling it down. And again, just kind of coming to that line. I'm going to grab a tad bit more because I want to really see how dark this can be as well. Just swipe it across. Again, rinse out my brush and just kind of pull that color down. Now, the one thing you do want to make sure that you do is you don't paint right next to a color that's wet, because it will just bleed into it. Now, you can use a heat gun if you want to, or you can just skip over one color. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to skip over one color. So you know what? I want to bring my camera down, if you guys don't mind. I kind of want to bring it down more towards the paper. So I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can kind of see a little bit more of the colors of these inks, or these watercolors rather. All right, now since we're zoomed in, I think I'm going to be that anal person today, and I am going to drive between each color. Just very quickly with my heat gun. Doesn't take but a second to do it. Now, I won't do this for every single one because that would be annoying to watch, but I just wanted to show you that you can do that. Now I'm going to come in, make a little pile of that other color red. So the first one was crimson, and second one's going to be deep rose. And I'm just going to keep going all the way down my palette. Again, starting with a stronger part of that color. Just pulling it right across. And as you can see, these colors are going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to pull that down. Again, I'm just going to clean my brush. Just clean it off. So as I just want like clean water. So I can just pull that color down. Because again, I do want to see how light I can get the color. And look how gorgeous that is. So I can get it from a really dark red to a really soft red. Again, I'm just going to heat that real quick. And then move on to my next color. I'm going to go in with that third red. Get a little bit on there. Again, just coming in right below. Adding a lot of that color. Clean off my brush. And pull the color down. Because again, I want to see full strength and then a little bit watered down. So look how gorgeous that color is. And I can get a lot of different shades out of this compared to the amount of water that I put down. Again, just heat set. And repeat. Now, I am, for the sake of convenience, and you guys seeing this, I'm going to take my palette and kind of just swing it off to the side this way. So I will have a larger area to show you guys when I'm painting. So, okay, next we're coming in with that orange. Again, I'm doing the same exact thing I did with the other colors. Grabbing some of it at full strength and then putting it right against that previous color. And because I heat set it, it's not going to run. Again, I'm going to pull this off to the side, rinse off my brush, just get some pure water, and then pull the color down. Now, if you just want to see it in full strength and then play with it later, you can do that as well. But I like anytime I get a new color in here, I want to swatch it before I do anything else with it. Again, really quickly, just going to heat that and on to the next color. Now I'm coming in with that gorgeous peach. Again, full strength, right along the bottom. And you can see how gorgeous and how vibrant these colors are. This would be perfect to mix so you have a really pretty skin tone. I'm rinsing it in that same cup I've been using already for the reds. And then I'll pull that color down. And you can see totally how light, and this would be gorgeous to do some flowers with as well. All right, clean that off, quickly heat set. As you can tell, it does not take a long time. And then I'll come back in with my next color. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and speed up this swatching part while I just talk to you about a few things. Okay, so I just want to tell you that I did voice over this part because it did take me a little while to color all of this in, but I just want to share a couple of things with you. Anytime you get a new watercolor tubes, or if you get them already done up for you in a palette, make sure that you test out your products. You want to see the longevity of the color. You want to see how transparent the color is. I love doing this because it's totally relaxing to me. And today happens to be International Relax Day. So this is making me quite happy just to be able to relax and do my colors. Anytime you're doing watercolor, it's going to react a little bit differently on the paper you're using. So keep that in mind. If you were to use this color on hot press paper, it doesn't have the ridges that it does in cold press paper, so the color might lay a little bit differently. Make sure whatever you swatch it in is usually the paper that you will use when you watercolor, so you know how it works with that paper. Now, paper is totally a personal preference. So I know a lot of us say like, this is my favorite watercolor paper, or this is my favorite watercolor paper. But again, test out your watercolor paper. See what you like, what works well for you. That also comes down to your brushes. Now, I am using the Brea Reese brushes in here, and I absolutely love them. And I travel with these brushes. I love these brushes because they come in a cute little pouch, and I want to say there's 4 brushes within the pouch of different sizes. And that's what makes it easy, one, for me to travel with them, and I also get a variety of sizes. I will make sure everything that I've used in this video will be linked below, so you guys can go ahead and do a little bit of shopping, or if you just want to buy the brushes, or like I do, you buy everything at once so you know you have it all. You can go ahead and do that. So I just want to kind of explain some of the ways I just watercolor, and I always make sure to pick the right product and what inspires me. Just remember, have fun with it. It's only paper and color. I promise you're not going to get locked up in the watercolor jail. No bail money is going to be needed for your watercoloring. Okay, let's get back to the video. All right, so I'm almost to the end, and I'm finishing up with that gorgeous Payne's gray. Payne's gray happens to be one of my favorite gray colors. Now, I will say, once these pans dry, and you have an opportunity to swatch them, the colors will probably look a little different. They might not look as streaky. It's just because I'm using a wet method for this, and my colors are not dried or hardened. So you may get a different color palette once you allow it to dry. But look how gorgeous that is. That's stunning. Again, I'm going to dry that back. But as you can see, with you mixing the two palettes together, you get a great color combination where you can really see the difference in the shades. I'm going to go in with that black, which is super, super dark, which is perfect. But the more water you add, the lighter it's going to become. So it's amazing how many shades of one color you can get by the amount of water you add. So I'm going to pull that gray down. So gorgeous. I mean, that black. So you can see it's really, really rich at the top. And then I can get it to be almost like a lighter gray towards the bottom. Now, before I do my white, I want to really, really clean my brush. I'm actually going to take my water bottle and I'm just going to squirt a little bit of water into my pan just to like rinse off that brush. I don't want that brush to really have any color on it when I go into that white. So I'm just going to clean that off really, really well. And then I'll come back into the white. Now the white you might not see, obviously, because I am using white paper, but I do still like to swatch my whites because I want to see what they look like. Some whites could have a more of a ivory white color on them, and some of them are like a true powerful white. Now again, you're not going to really be able to see it, but I can see it with my naked eye. I can see that color change. So again, I'm just going to clean off my brush and I'm just going to pull down some of that white. Again, you're not going to really be able to tell. I can kind of see it a little bit better in real life. All right, now we have our colors down. And I'm going to go ahead and move my palette out the way so you can kind of see these colors. Again, it's going to take probably about 24 hours for these to actually set in my pan. Okay, so here are all of our colors. And you can see that you have such an arrangement of beautiful colors out of these two sets. I am going to let these sit back and dry a while, and then I'll come back in and put in the names just with a black marker. I just want to make sure my paper is nice and dry before I actually write on it. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside for a little bit and I'll come back. Alrighty, they are nice and dry, and now I can just come in and put in my colors. Now the great thing about me cutting the paper the same sizes is I'm going to actually run this through my laminating machine and I'll have all the colors handy on one little swatch. Totally up to you if you want to be more adventurous and maybe do little swatches and put them in a book. For me right now, I just want to have them like this. I might later go back and do little swatches of 2x2, but for right now, I think I want to keep it this way. So all that's really left is me to go ahead and start writing in the names. Now excuse my handwriting because it is not the best. So don't judge on the handwriting here. But what I really just wanted to share with you today is how gorgeous these Brea Reese watercolors are. They are perfect to grab your palette on a nice afternoon, sit down, get comfortable, and color. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. And I'll be sure to check and leave you guys any more explanations that you might need. If there's something else you might want to see done with these watercolors, let me know. But I am going to be doing another video on these where we actually end up doing a project with them. So you can see how light and dark I can get these colors to be, and you'll also be able to see because the palette itself will be dried. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish writing out all my names. Again, I'm keeping with the colors that are sitting right off to my left here. So I'm not trying to get myself mixed up because that happens quite easily. But I just kept the colors in the same color way that I laid them out. And again, they're just off to the side so I can kind of make sure I write down the colors correctly, because there's nothing like having a color swatch and realize that you have messed up what a name was. So this one here is going to be the Lake Blue, which is stunning. So you're going to get a great amount of color combinations on these two sets. If you get the jewel, obviously the colors are going to be more jewel toned. And if you get the classic, they're going to be literally your classic colors. I would suggest getting both. I would suggest getting both so you have a great color variation to work from. Again, you can make these colors lighter or darker. You can mix your colors together. Totally up to you, but I really believe that this is not a fail if you actually get both. And okay, so for me, I can never have enough watercolor. I don't want to even admit to how much I have. But let's just say it's a lot. And I just love having all the color around me. It makes me happy. But I do want to share with you, look at these great colors of brown here. This right here is the raw umber, which is really a really dark wood color. And then we just have the brown, to me, which mimics more of a leather brown. And then this one's going to be our Payne's gray. Now I am going to switch my pens because I'm not going to be able to really see that black on there. So I'm just going to grab a Jelly Roll pen and write it down in a Jelly Roll pen. So that's going to be my Payne's gray. And then this is going to be my Mars black. Now I will go back over these because this Jelly Roll pen has a tendency to go on light, so I'm going to have to go back and redo the names. And then I'll go back down to the white and end up putting that one in. And this one is complete. So that is all of the colors right now that I have from Brea Reese. Okay, I do need to add a disclaimer. As these paints dried in my palette, they did crack due to the high water content within each tube. So I would suggest only panning what you need or adding a drop or two of glycerin into the palette, mix it in with the paint before you pan large amounts. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.